Chapter 81, Poisoning. This chapter is updated by Novels.pl. Zhang Yuochen's Qi lake had expanded 10 times its previous size when he reached the mid-stage of the Black Realm. That allowed him to store a lot more genuine Qi. A large amount of genuine Qi he had already consumed recovered rapidly and became even more energetic. It flowed throughout his 36 meridians and it soon created a large circle of vital energy. Swish. He had released his martial soul and demonstrated the space domain. When he was at the initial stage of the Black Realm, the space domain could only cover a space with a surrounding area of 10 meters. Now at the mid-stage, the size of the space domain had enlarged to 30 meters. At the same time, Zhang Yuochen's mastery of the space domain had matured. A poisonous bee suddenly flew into the space domain and attacked Zhang Yuochen. He thought for a second and activated the power of the space warps, attempting to change the flight path of the poisonous bee. Zhang Yuochen's mastery of the space domain was so sophisticated that 10 poisonous bees would not be able to harm him even if he stood still. Swish. Zhang Yuochen swung his sword. The poisonous bee was cut in half and fell to the ground. King Yu was standing nearby. He chuckled. Even though you've broken through the realms, it won't change your final destination, dying by my hand. Is it now? Zhang Yuochen said. Power of rainbow-like animal spirits. Zhang Yuochen's body was surrounded by a light blood aura. With the stimulation of the blood aura, he dashed out and attacked King Yu with an explosive speed of 38 meters per second. The speed he obtained surpassed most of the Dawn State warriors of the Black Realm. Elephant galloping. The genuine Qi inside Zhang Yuochen's body surged towards his arms. His palms were filled by the genuine Qi. Even the air moved with his hands. Green Devil Hand. Even though Zhang Yuochen had reached the mid-stage of the Black Realm, King Yu wasn't afraid of him. There was only one thing Zhang Yuochen could do: die. Boom. Two powerful forces clashed together and created a deafening sound. A strong wind circled around them, stripping the nearby trees of their leaves. Puff. King Yu spat out a mouthful of blood. He felt a powerful force roll through his arms that shook his internal organs. Zhang Yuochen pressed his palm on top of King Yu's. The power of his palm was getting stronger and stronger and kept forcing King Yu back. Boom. King Yu slid back 10 meters and bumped into the trunk of a huge tree. Again he spat out a mouthful of blood. Your power. How is your power stronger than mine? You are definitely going to die today. King Yu's face was distorted and he yelled. Animal spirits fixing beasts. The blood inside King Yu's body seemed to burn. A large blood fog appeared behind his back. It combined together and turned into a 2-meter-tall image of a wolf. Animal spirits fixing beasts was the signature move of reaching the Dawn State of the Black Realm. Boiling animal spirits. Power of rainbow-like animal spirits. Soaring animal spirits. Animal spirits fixing beasts. For each Black Realm a warrior passed through, the spiritual blood in their bodies would be greatly increased and all sorts of phenomenal changes would occur. If warriors at the initial stage of the Black Realm exploded out the power of spiritual blood and reached the boiling animal spirits, their fighting force would be increased by 10%. Warriors at the mid-stage of the Black Realm, who used the power of spiritual blood and reached the power of rainbow-like animal spirits, would see a 30% increase. Warriors at the advanced stage of the Black Realm could raise their fighting force by 50% if they used the spiritual blood power of the soaring animal spirits. When warriors reached the Dawn State of the Black Realm, the spiritual blood inside their bodies would condense into the shadow of a beast, and their power would be incredible. Once the warriors unleashed the power of their spiritual blood, their fighting force would double quickly. Even if warriors of the advanced stage of the Black Realm were extremely talented, they would have difficulty defeating warriors of the Dawn State of the Black Realm. It was said that by reaching the divinity of the spiritual blood at the completion of the Black Realm, the power of the spiritual blood of the warriors would be able to double in a short amount of time. The power of King Yu had now doubled and all the meridians in his body had thickened. He unleashed a palm towards Zhang Yuochen and sent him flying 7 meters. Whoosh! King Yu didn't allow him to catch his breath. He had a sharp sickle in his hand and ran towards him. In a flash, he stood before him. The inscriptions on the sickle had been activated and displayed a dazzling blood light. Together with the powerful knife energy, He swung towards Jiang Yuochen, aiming for his neck. Space warps. Space distorted again. King Yu swung the sickle over the top of his head. King Yu had finally realized that something was wrong. His facial expression changed and said, "How is it possible? What technique did you use?" "No, you didn't escape from the attack of the death sickle. There was a distortion in space." "I can't believe you finally understand. Anyway, you're finished." Jiang Yuochen waved his sword backhanded. It passed through King Yu's throat and pierced through his body. King Yu's eyes widened and he couldn't reconcile he had lost. His entire body shook severely and blood poured out from his mouth. Bang! His body fell heavily to the ground. The most outstanding genius of the King family in a century fell to the sword of Jiang Yuochen. If he hadn't encountered Jiang Yuochen and with his talent, he would have definitely reached the Heaven Realm in 20 years, and become a martial arts legend. Fortunately, Jiang Yuochen had broken through the mid-stage of the Black Realm before the fight. Otherwise, it would have been hard to tell who would have lived and who would have died. After killing King Yu, Jiang Yuochen felt relieved. He soon felt a feeling of weakness emerging. His sight darkened and he almost passed out. He is seriously injured and lost a lot of blood. Jiang Yuochen couldn't stop himself from falling to his knees. He supported himself with his palms on the ground and tried to keep himself awake. He took the Saint Stone pill for healing and sat cross-legged on the ground. Then he activated the genuine Qi in his body in order to refine the pill spirit of the Saint Stone pill. Within a minute, Jiang Yuochen's injury was 20% recovered, but he was still very weak. He would be in grave danger if he encountered any other warriors or savage beasts. Suddenly, there were rustling sounds above his head. A massive black shadow plunged from the sky and landed in front of Jiang Yuochen. He looked at the shadow closely and saw that it was a giant black cat, as big as a lion. It had a pair of black wings. Meow. Blackie made a cat sound. His body contracted gradually and returned to its normal size. He moaned. "I'm so exhausted. That guy's cultivation was beyond my expectations. I can't believe he's a tamer," and called for a number of carrion crows. "Otherwise, I'd definitely have killed him." When he recognized that it was Blackie who was standing in front of him, he felt relieved and asked, "Prince Huoxing escaped?" "Yes. I almost consumed all the genuine Qi within my body just to fight him." "Young man, give me a spiritual crystal. I need to recover my genuine Qi," Blackie said. Jiang Yuochen took out a spiritual crystal and threw it to Blackie. He asked with curiosity, "How has your cultivation improved so greatly?" While Jiang Yuochen had cultivated the medium state of the Yellow Realm, Blackie's fighting force had just reached the medium state of the Yellow Realm. He was also weaker compared to Jiang Yuochen, yet the fighting force that Blackie had just demonstrated was powerful enough to confront warriors of the Dawn state of the Black Realm. Surprisingly, he fought well against Prince Huoxing and was able to escape. "I've told you before, my power has been sealed in the yin-yang wooden glyph. You are the only person who can open that seal. The stronger your cultivation, the more seals you will be able to open, and my power will also grow stronger," Blackie added. "What happens when your seals are fully opened?" Jiang Yuochen asked. Blackie looked up and said with pride, "That will be the time when I return to Earth. Everyone will have to heed my command. All you have to do is follow and serve me. I will make sure that all the people of the Kunlun's field will fear and obey you." Blackie sighed. "Unfortunately, the cunning monk has a backup plan in case someone like you opens up the seal. With your cultivation, you will never be able to open up all the seals. Now I will go to the internal space of the time and space spinal to recover my genuine Qi." "Young man, give me a spiritual crystal." Jiang Yuochen didn't respond to what Blackie had said and instead asked, "There are lots of spiritual crystals in the internal space of the time and space spinal. Take them if you want. By the way, how much time will you need to recover your genuine Qi?" "With the help of the spiritual crystal, I will need half a day," Blackie replied. After Blackie went into the internal space of the time and space spinal, Jiang Yuochen stood up and started searching the battlefield. It seemed that even Blackie himself knew that he would never be able to escape from the seal of the yin-yang wooden glyph. Moreover, he dared not harm Jiang Yuochen. If he were to die, it would again be forever sealed in the yin-yang wooden graph. King Yu was dead as well as the other 7 warriors from Square Commandery. Only Prince Huoxing escaped. Zhang Yuochen searched King Yu's body and found 18 beast's eyeballs, which equated to 9 inferior class level 2 savage beasts that he had hunted down. There was also a 2-star VIP card, 38 spiritual crystal, and 300 silver coins. Zhang Yuochen didn't place too much hope in the 2-star VIP card. If he couldn't find King Yu's blood relatives, he wouldn't be able to withdraw them, so it wouldn't matter how many silver coins were on the card. He picked up the death sickle King Yu had used and transferred genuine chi into it. He discovered that there were altogether 23 inscriptions carved on the death sickle, which classified it as a 5th level genuine martial arm. Its value was at least 10,000 silver coins. The death sickle was indeed an expensive and precious weapon. He would make a lot of money once he sold it. He kept searching the other 7 warriors and found beasts' eyeballs, weapons, spiritual crystals, and silver coins. He stored it all in the internal space of the time and space spinal. He knew that it wasn't the right time to count the treasures. Prince Huoxing could come back anytime. With his current condition, he was surely not strong enough to defeat him. He had to leave right away to find a safe place to rest and count all the items he had collected. Suddenly he thought of Ziqian. So he entered the forest where he fought with King Yu to see if he could find any trace of her. Ah, help! He heard a woman sobbing and moaning. He separated the dense, thick grass and saw Ziqian laying on the ground. She put her hand to her chest and shivered when she saw Zhang Yuochen. Her face turned red and said with a weak voice, I'm poisoned. Help me. She didn't seem to be asking for help with her usual soft and tempting voice, but more moaning the request. She didn't look like she was in good condition. Her eyes were fuzzy, her eyelashes trembled, and her red lips were slightly open. A layer of pink covered her snow-white skin, which smelled of sweat. Poisoned? What type of poison? Zhang Yuochen saw there was a mark of a black palm on Ziqian's right shoulder that was caused by King Yu's Green Devil Hand. It was the toxin of Green Devil Hand. Wait. It seems like there's more than one type of toxin. Zhang Yuochen kept checking her body. He found a bloody wound on her stomach, caused by poisonous bees. There were 3 wounds on her body in total. On her neck, stomach, and left leg. Her long legs shivered slightly and twisted together so hard that her culottes looked like they were going to be torn apart. He wasn't sure if it was because of the pain or something else.